Hey, what's going on? I'm Cliff Booth, stuntman, here with Mr. Rick Dalton, the TV cowboy himself. And no, I'm not going to keep up this accent. This is
pretty bad,
this is
man.
Thomas Manning, but I will say I was the body double for Brad Pitt in this. You'll see there's that one scene where he takes off his shirt. That's me. He doesn't have those abs, but I do. So,
That's right.
Yeah.
But, and I sure don't have them.
Oh yeah.
I sure don't have them.
But we're here to talk about Quentin Tarantino's ninth film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Of course, he has technically done 10 because Kill Bill split up into 2 volumes, but for him, it was one full movie. He shot it all at one time, and then, the production company was like, we can't do a 4-hour movie, so I'm going to split it up into 2. But anyway, that's why this is the ninth movie by Quentin Tarantino. This follows the story of Rick Dalton, who's kind of an aging TV cowboy who's kind of, is he out of the game? He's struggling with a lot of insecurities, and then his stuntman, Cliff Booth, Brad Pitt, and he's definitely the more smoother, calm, cool, and collected guy. He's really charming, charismatic, and really interesting dynamic between these two characters.
Yeah, very much so. It was. I think you described it as kind of a buddy dramedy, and I really kind of feel that's the case. I mean, Tarantino is one of these that, if you've ever seen a Tarantino film, you know his films are not traditional. Wouldn't you say that's the case?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, the first 2 hours, it's just these actors or the actors and these stunt people kind of going through their daily lives. You see DiCaprio's character kind of struggling to find the balance. Definitely, he's got a drinking problem. He's always smoking cigarettes, and he's got the stuttering problem as well. And that makes his job really hard and doesn't help when he's got, Al Pacino coming in, this production guy that's like, hey man, you're aging out of the game. You're not going to be around much longer unless you go do the spaghetti westerns. And he's like, oh, it's official, old buddy. I has been.
It's official, old buddy. I'm a has been.
Yeah, so
and I think to me that's the interesting thing about this is Tarantino finds this way of paying homage and paying tribute to things in the past. And we were talking to Greg Tillman a little bit earlier, and he was comparing this to kind of what happened with Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds had this acting career on TV, and I was comparing it to Clint Eastwood, who, of course, had this acting career in a Western, and he went on and became quite successful, still is, but quite successful in films from a Western standpoint, spaghetti Westerns in particular, and really see that coming forward in this particular movie.
no doubt about that. And in addition to the leading to DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, we also have Margot Robbie, who is playing Sharon Tate. She was great. She didn't have a ton of screen time or a ton of dialogue, but her just kind of charisma, her magnetism just carries her, and she's phenomenal. Just showing up on screen, I mean, she's incredible.
Yeah, she really was. And there was a scene stealing youngster that just blew you and me both away.
Oh, yes, sir. I believe her name is Julia Butters, and she's only 10 years old, a young actress. And she shared like 2 scenes with DiCaprio. She only had about 10 minutes of screen time, but she stole the show from DiCaprio himself.
She was incredible.
For me, this was an Academy Award level performance from DiCaprio, but she stole the show from him in these 2 scenes. Like, she had these monologues, basically, and as a 10-year-old just delivering Tarantino monologues, and it's outstanding.
It was unreal. Yeah, this film had everything that you would probably hope for in a Tarantino film. The non-traditional story structure was definitely there. The paying tribute to other things before, but also the dialogue, just the witty dialogue and the acting. He's always done a great job of casting. You see that here. The production design on this, absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah, you have movie sets within the movie set. You've got it's in Hollywood, so you got all these back lots, and
it takes place in '69. I don't know that we mentioned that.
Oh yeah, of course. It's 1969 Hollywood, and he's able to recreate the highways in like LA during that time. That probably was one of the only detractors. Is the first time we saw it, it's like, wow, that's gorgeous that he was able to recreate that. I think it was mostly practical. I don't think he used any CGI, but they kept showing the highways and kept showing B-roll footage, people driving in cars and driving in cars and driving in cars, and that got repetitive after a while. First time I was like, wow, that's amazing. And that was probably the biggest issue that I had with the film, was just the pacing in those sequences.
2 hours, 45 plus minutes.
It was. I'd say they probably could have cut out about 15 minutes of some of some of the slower pacing.
Yeah, and you know, Tarantino films are known for their language, known for their violence. This has a bit of both.
Yeah.
But the violence doesn't really kick in until the final act.
Yeah, basically, the first 2 hours are probably some of the slowest pacing you've ever seen in a Tarantino movie.
But it's not a bad thing at all.
It's not a bad thing at all. Like, you're very compelled by the dialogue and what the things they're talking about, what they're saying. It's mostly everyday stuff, but it's somehow
clicks.
Tarantino is able to develop
Yeah.
that dialogue, no matter how bland it might seem. You're intrigued and hanging on every word that the characters are saying.
Yeah, and the story is really pretty simple from a story standpoint. There's 3 different levels or 3 different types of stories kind of coming together. There's, of course, the aging TV star who is trying to make it in film and trying to find out, okay, am I a has-been? You got that, him and his buddy. But you've also got Charles Manson and his family of crazies. You've got a whole element and a layer of what's going on with them. And then you've got, of course, Sharon Tate. Anybody who knows the history knows that Sharon Tate actually died at the hands of members of the Manson family. So you've got all those things combining. But Tarantino does something a little different, much like he did with Inglourious Basterds. He finds a way to kind of rewrite history in his own way.
Oh yeah, so I guess minor spoilers right there. You can kind of put two and two together to know what we're getting at, but still, going into this, you knew Tarantino was probably gonna do his own thing with this. Yeah, if you know what happened at the end of Inglourious Basterds, you can kind of predict what's gonna happen in here, but that doesn't make the payoff any less magnificent.
Yeah.
It's when it gets to that, the last 20 minutes are just bonkers. It is crazy. It is some of the craziest. Probably, you look at Avengers Endgame. The last hour of that was incredible.
Avengers! Assemble.
But besides that, this is probably the most exciting last act I've seen of a movie this year.
Oh,
It
it's
was
amazing.
nuts.
Yeah, it was really a really interesting film. For me, the sluggish part was the pacing at times, and that did take me a little bit out of this. But very much enjoyed this film as I typically enjoy Tarantino films.
Yeah, I'm settling at right around an A- for my grade. Yeah, the only issue I had was some of the pacing and some of the clips they probably could have cut out. But overall, just a technical marvel. The cinematography from Robert Richardson was outstanding. Like I mentioned, the acting and the writing and the dialogue, all of that, spectacular. And at the end of the day, it's another Tarantino. It's almost a masterpiece for me. So yeah, A-.
Yeah, solid B+ for me. And one of the things I loved about the film is the attention to period detail. All the way down to commercials playing on the radio when people are driving their cars around. You'll see billboards that are representing things that were happening, whether it was a movie, whether it was an ad agency, or some kind of spectacular thing that was happening in 1969, and you see all that unfolding. And even TV shows are making an appearance. Real TV shows and created TV shows.
And of course, all the deep cut soundtracks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's another Tarantino staple. You can always bet he's going to have a magnificent soundtrack. And sometimes he does some kind of anachronistic music, like in Django Unchained, he kind of put in some modern day pop music in there. But in this was all within the time period.
Yeah.
You had Simon and Garfunkel, you had Neil Diamond, you had Paul Revere and the Writers. So you had a lot of deep cuts like that, and really impressive soundtrack.
Yeah, and the acting really was. I can't say enough about the acting. Was just unbelievable. Even the supporting cast that maybe only had minutes of screen time, everybody was solid.
Yeah, like Kurt Russell, Timothy Oliphant, I think that's how you pronounce
Oh,
his name,
yeah.
something
Yeah,
along
yeah.
those lines. Zoe Bell makes a cameo, of course, the stunt woman who's worked with Tarantino for a lot.
And Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's daughter.
Oh yeah. Maya Hawke, she makes a bit of a cameo from Stranger Things. She kind of had her burst onto the scene with Stranger Things, and now she's got a job with Tarantino. Who knows where that's going to take her? So
Solid B+ for me for this film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
yeah, well, thank you guys so much for tuning into this review. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, hit the like button and give us a thumbs up. and press the subscribe button and the bell notification bell if you want to get more reviews like this from our channel. And once again, my name is Thomas Manning. I'm here with Noah Manning. No relation. We're not related at all. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys later.
See ya!
Woo!